Hi there, this is Tate, and welcome to not only its Wrestling Time Post Show, but the WrestleManiacs podcast. I am joined by fellow WrestleManiac, Josh.
Yes, I am alive. I am alive. To quote Paul Bearer, he's alive. Yes, I am alive. I've actually had about a COVID the last week or two, and so it's been pure heck. But you know what? I'm back and better than ever, baby. So let's get started on this Raw review. A hot Raw, to say the least.
I prayed to the wrestling gods, Moose and JBL, for your recovery. It worked.
And you know what? To quote JBL, it's morning again in America because I'm back. So yes, indeed. Your prayers have been answered.
Save yourself now for me. Maybe, we'll see. All right. Well, I'm glad to see you're doing a lot better, Josh. We're all really worried about you.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely planned on trying to get back last week, but it was
That's hilarious. All right, let's kick things off talking about the CM Punk promo. So you learned a couple of interesting things. He says he's glad to see you're better.
Thank you.
So we learned a couple of interesting things from this promo. Number one, we learned that CM Punk has officially been cleared to compete.
Yes, which is so nice. It's been forever.
Number two, we learned that that Drew McIntyre has been reinstated and that it will be CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre at SummerSlam. Now they cannot have physically touch each other until SummerSlam. And the third thing we learned is that Seth freaking Rollins is a special guest referee for this match.
Watching wrestling long enough, you kind of anticipate a couple of things. And I anticipate somebody somehow or another is going to duck a punch, is going to duck a kick, and somebody, aka Seth Rollins, is going to be kicked in the face by either Drew McIntyre or Punk or both, leading into SummerSlam, being that he's got beef with both of them.
Are you talking about this finish?
Well, I would say that finish is going to be like that, but I think next week on Raw, we're going to have it to where they can't touch each other, but they're going to try to hit each other. One's going to duck or both are going to duck, and Rollins is going to get his clock cleaned by both of them, leading to, whose side is going to be on because both of them hit Seth Rollins instead. So it's going to be a good finish regardless. I think it's going to be great.
Me too. I could see this playing out either way. On one hand, I could see it CM Punk accidentally attacking Drew McIntyre and Drew McIntyre getting mad at Seth Rollins because now CM Punk beat him thanks to Seth Rollins. But at the same time, I could see it being the opposite. I could see Seth Rollins trying to hit. I think Drew will win. Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. I could see CM Punk, Seth Rollins hitting CM Punk, and Drew McIntyre wins, and then CM Punk gets mad at Seth Rollins. Because you have to remember, Seth Rollins did cost CM Punk the world title.
Yep. And also, if you remember, Seth said, when you're cleared, I'm going to be the first one after you. But, I still, as much as Drew and Seth have had this sort of, Drew and Punk have had this sort of, fever pitch of fighting at SummerSlam. If we're going to get Punk and Rollins at Mania next year, we got to have that iconic throwback to SummerSlam of 97 where Punk is looking in Rollins' eyes as he counts to 1, 2, 3. And then maybe Rollins attacks him afterward. I think, unfortunately, Drew, I think we're going to have another scenario to where I think he's going to get screwed over. And then, we're going to have, I don't know. To me, I think that's the right call. I think Punk winning this one is the right call.
It says the feud Punk Seth is just getting started. I think Drew will win. That's true. The Seth Rollins CM Punk feud is just getting started. And I feel like you need a reason for CM Punk to get mad at Seth Rollins. And the reason would be because Seth Rollins not only clocked him, but, cost him the match, so to speak.
I could see both. I mean, again, Triple H is a student of the game, right? He's a student of history, right? And so, I mean, if Walter is not Killer Kowalski made over in Triple H's image, essentially, I mean, I don't know. Again, you could go either way, but I think, to me, the idea of Rollins hates Punk so much that the idea that he has to basically count 1, 2, 3, 4. But again, I was so surprised that Rollins wasn't. I mean, he was happy to be the referee, but again, as mad as he was at Punk, I figured it would have been like Drew McIntyre attacks Rollins, and then Punk. I kind of figured Rollins was going to get physical, and then they were going to make him referee instead of him coming out saying, "I'm going to be the referee." So it was a little weird, to be honest with you, consistency wise.
And then we find out that next week we're going to be giving Seth Rollins referee instructions.
What kind of crazy outfit is that kid going to wear? Shawn Michaels kind of just draped over red and black and white? Who knows? If he shows up in a regular referee shirt, I'll be disappointed.
Let's see. The next McIntyre feud will be Seth after Punk. I could see that.
Which is why I think he'll cost him. Because if you look at it, if you think back to that time when Undertaker lost the title because of Shawn Michaels' chair shot wanting to hit Bret, we had the feud between them at Ground Zero and Hell in the Cell, and then Kane came, and then we get to Survivor Series 97. So if we're going to do something Survivor Series with Punk and, let's say, McIntyre, or Punk and Rollins has got to fight somebody else. I think we're going to get Rollins and McIntyre.
Seth can be turned to fair by accidentally screwing Punk. Yeah, exactly. What's the rough instructions? We'll find out next week.
Hell knows. Something crazy.
Right. So I'm looking forward to that match. I think the stakes just got amped high because I feel like you don't know how this is going to play out. We have an idea, but we just don't know for sure. But
that's the best part. I mean, you and I are going to have differing opinions. And, the best part is watching the match and whoever gets to 1, 2, 3 and being like, I told you. So that's always the fun part of the predictions.
Definitely. Got to tune in next week for our predictions on A+0 Report. All right. So Monday Night Raw kicked off with a Gunther promo. And I have to say, Gunther is a heel in this feud with Damian Priest. I mean, he
everyone else.
He called him a bum, called him trash. I mean, he went low last week.
Again, a smiling Gunther is a happy, wholesome Gunther to me. So I think Gunther is the face in this. I don't think Priest is the face at all. Shouldn't be.
But basically, he called Judgment Day street trash. And this basically leads into a brawl between them. And officials tried to separate them, and they basically both get themselves ejected from the building. So, overall, a decent way to start off Raw. I just don't like the opening promo brawl type of thing. You should have just started Monday Night Raw with the brawl.
But I like that they didn't have this back and forth because, I mean, and I'm going to say it, I think, and it's not, I don't think any fault of his. I really don't. I think that Priest has not had the option or not had the time really to really get his sort of promo skills out there. So it's always the same thing. So I like the fact that he came out and was like, you know what, screw it, and just punched Gunther in the face. So to me, that made more sense. I loved it. Yeah, well, I love the heat, and especially the idea that they kept going through the commercial break. And, again, AO, there's going to comment AO said, and to me, opinionated Gunther is the best. Yes, again, a smiling Gunther is a wholesome Gunther. So to me, I'm loving it because Gunther is basically telling him, I'm going to kill you. I mean, and, really, unless something screwy happens in the DQ finish and we get Gunther winning the title at Bash in Berlin, what are we going to do? Unless they want to give Damian Priest that last over to some big superstar, I don't want to say he goes back to obscurity, but I don't think Priest is, unless he goes back to feud with Finn, then I'd be okay with that.
It was a very mid-opening. Gunther's beating Priest, and he will be the longest-reigning World Heavyweight Champion. I could see that happening. The only way I see Priest beating Gunther is if, like you said, it's a screwy finish, and he doesn't beat him clean. That's the only way I see him winning. But I could definitely see Gunther winning at SummerSlam, and then having him do a whole champion entrance at Bash in Berlin.
Oh, I mean, if we thought Drew McIntyre's thing was interesting, I mean, Gunther returning back to that, technically I don't think he's German. I think he's Austrian, maybe. Either way, in that general vicinity, I mean, Gunther is going to be a babyface, regardless of, because, I mean, he's he can be a jerk, no doubt. Again, it makes me laugh every time he says street trash because I think of like Aladdin, street rat. I don't buy it. I mean, that's just me. But I don't know. Priest technically is supposed to be the heel here because he's got the Judgment Day backing him. And Gunther really is going it alone because Kaiser's out, right? And Vinci is not there. So really, I don't know. I just don't buy Gunther as the heel at this point.
Maybe Balor would cost Priest. Kaiser's German. He's got to be there. We're going to wait and see. A lot of interesting stuff on the road to SummerSlam.
A lot hotter SummerSlam that I'll be honest with you. I mean, I'm going way back, but the most heat I think we last saw of a SummerSlam like excited for was, I'm going to say when Daniel Bryan and Randy Orton fought, or 2014, or maybe, gosh darn, probably since 2006 or 7. I've really not been like, oh yeah, it's going to be SummerSlam. Now I'm like, you know what? They got me caring about SummerSlam again.
So we find out for the next 2 weeks, Monday Night Raw will be on Sci-Fi, the go-home show, and the fallout from SummerSlam because of the Olympics. Are
we going to get the zombie again show up? Are we going to have somebody attack the zombie at this time, like ECW back in the day?
We don't talk about that. I completely forgot SummerSlam was in 2 weeks. It doesn't feel like a huge bill. It's literally next weekend. It's literally
not this one, but the weekend after.
Yeah, because this weekend is the 27th, but the next weekend. So yeah, like it's crazy. I did not even realize that.
Raw on Sci-Fi. So strange. Again, I wonder what we're going to get on that. Hopefully nothing weird, but you never know.
All right, we get a number 1 contenders match. It's Braun Breaker versus Ilja Dragunov, the winner versus Sami Zayn. This was a great match. I thought this was a really good match. It's no surprise Braun Breaker won, but I did kind of know, maybe it's just me, but it seemed like at the end, after he hit that spear to Dragunov mid-air where his head hit the ring apron, it kind of seemed for a second Braun Breaker was like legitimately concerned.
Because he asked what happened.
For Dragunov, and he even mouths to the ref, like, what's wrong with him? But then he snaps back into character when he's announced as the winner.
I mean, I'll be honest, for Dragunov for a second, I was like, ooh, maybe because I mean, when have you seen it to where he's done? He can't do nothing. I mean, maybe something did happen. I haven't seen any reports about him having any issues. Maybe that was the story. And again, as you said, Braun Breaker, you could tell he was like, what the heck's going on? Is he okay? What happened?
Yeah.
But they didn't throw up the X, so maybe he's all right. Maybe they just said he's fine. Just now do your breaker thing. Maybe they called an audible. Yeah, it did look pretty scary, that spot, though, because I thought he really did botch that a little bit. I was like, oh, that didn't look nice.
Yeah, I was concerned for Ilja right there. I was like, oh, is he okay? Well, SmackDown was on Sci-Fi. I remember that. SmackDown being on Sci-Fi.
ECW too.
The Zombie's a wrestling legend, said no one ever. Dragunov will be okay. Yeah, he'll be fine. Like I said, I haven't read any reports either, so I'm under the impression that he is fine.
He's just a good seller. He just scared the crap out of us for no reason. That's fine. Whatever.
Right? Almost gave Braun Breaker a heart attack out there.
Yeah, poor Braun.
So you get the first Judgment Day segment. We had like 3 Judgment Day segments out this night. And I found it interesting that the boys are still playing the video game that Liv Morgan gave to Dominik.
Well, she gifted it to Finn. We know it really wasn't for Dom. I still think Finn's going to reveal himself somewhere here eventually. He's the one that wanted Liv all along.
We'll see. And I also thought it was interesting that, like, Dom got mad at Rhea about her socials with Jay, and then she throws it right back at him.
Mm-hmm. He wants to take her to the Waffle House. I mean, what's wrong with that, right?
And I also think it's kind of interesting, kind of telling that, Rhea doesn't want to start a war with Jey Uso because she sees no point of it. So, very interesting.
Very. Are we going to get a romance between her and Jay? And poor Buddy Murphy's just on the side, like, use me, for goodness sakes. I'm right here. I'm not doing nothing anyways. Poor guy. He's an AEW, but, he's House of Black.
So Alpha Academy and Xavier Woods are celebrating Akira Tozawa's birthday, and it was legitimately his birthday.
Oh, Akira is literally this generation's Funaki. And I mean that in the best ways possible, that somehow, some way, I thought he would have been in Future Endeavor years ago. He still sticks around. That's such a cool thing.
Let's see what Buddy has to say about Rhea licking Dom. Oh, we'll get to that in a bit.
I mean, he did kiss Dom. I mean, look, he kissed Dom's sister. So, I mean, technically speaking, it's
Call it
just
even.
revenge. Oh, please. I want that storyline to come back. I enjoyed that so much because it was such cringe. It was perfect.
Lyra and Akira versus Sonya Deville. Definitely seems like they're building up Sonya Deville and her faction. Sonya Deville getting the win here over Lyra or Akira.
Which I'm not saying I'm surprised. I mean, definitely, I think they've given Sonya something more interesting to do than they have in years, besides her being the somehow random general manager with Adam Pearce. So at least they're doing something with her finally.
Sure, I'm curious to see where this goes. Sonya and her crew were all over this show tonight. Yeah, they were. So again, they're trying to put them up. So
I'm not against it. I definitely think it's a pretty badass team. I mean, again, I think Sonya is the weakest one of the badasses, but I definitely think that, you know, character-wise, she fits in there.
Yeah. All right. So we're getting Nikki Cross. It's her turn now. As we know, we saw Bo Dallas, we saw Eric Rowan. Now it's Nikki Cross's turn for this tape. This looks like something. Has you seen the movie The Ring?
Samara.
Like,
oh, yeah. I was like waiting for her to crawl out of my television, you know, 7 days. Yeah, I was waiting for that.
This looked like something straight out of The Ring. And I'm just like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'd hate to say they really didn't do much with this one. I was really a little surprised that they did anything with her because she was forgotten, but I didn't hear from her besides her random screaming and stuff. So really, I kind of expected more.
Never seen The Ring.
Oh, no, you got to. You got to.
You also got to see the Japanese version, Ring You.
It's not real. Just know it's not real. It can't hurt you.
But so that just leaves Dexter Loomis and Joe Gacy that they need to cover.
So is Dexter gonna just draw us pictures with crayons, you know, telling his story? And Indy Hartwell, is she gonna be mentioned? I mean, you know, because she's on Raw too. So what's with that? That's his wife. So, you know.
There you go. Wait and see. All right. So the second Judgment Day segment, Dexter will be staring at the camera, not saying a word. I doubt that.
Perfect. I'd love it.
Actually, that would make sense. So the second Judgment Day segment, it seems like Carlito, JD, and Dom were all like trying to find. They were trying to. Because we got to remember, but Finn Balor suggested to Dominik, he knows what he has to do. He has to go after Jey Uso. And Carlito, they split up, and again, Liv Morgan runs into Dominik, and I thought it was very telling that he tries to go in the same direction as Liv, but Finn Balor stops him.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm telling you, Finn is masterful. It's Uncle Finn to the rescue here. I'm loving it. You know what you got to do, son. You got to kick his ass. You got to do. He talked to your woman, man. I mean, you know, Finn is the ultimate troll, basically. Why you want to start a fight with Jey Uso? Look, you got to do what you got to do. And again, in direct opposition to what Rhea told him.
Exactly.
And you notice Finn is really over these past weeks taking the key card, got caught, you know, playing PlayStation with Liv. I mean, you know, drop the ball already. Let's get this going. I want to have, you know, the breakup of the Judgment Day at SummerSlam. It's going to be Finn and Liv versus, I mean, granted, we're going to have the title match, of course, but we got to have something here.
We'll get to that in a little bit.
I know.
Okay. Sami Zayn's being interviewed. Pretty much this is your typical Sami Zayn interview, but they use this to have Sami Zayn save Jey from the Judgment Day. So in the main event, it's going to be, as we learn later on in the night, it's going to be Finn Balor and JD Madonna versus Sami Zayn and Jey Uso.
Felt so forced. I'm like, I get Sami backs Jey, but I'm over the Sami project now. Go away for a while. Hope Bron breaks him and that takes Sami Zayn off TV for a while. Because, like you said, it's the same thing with Sami Zayn every week. He can only be the underdog for so long, but when he's the IC champion and beat Gunther, it's not an underdog story anymore. He's now kind of the elder statesman, and they've got to play into that. A heel Sami Zayn is a better Sami Zayn, I think.
We never got his documentary that he was making.
Nope.
Remember when he was a conspiracy theorist and he said Sami stood for stand against moral injustice?
Yep. Exactly. I never again, and that's one thing I think they missed out on because of the whole bloodline thing. I think that took over everything.
Yeah, because he was in the middle of that character when he joined the bloodline. I know it was a fake documentary. I thought they were actually going to produce like a fake documentary for.
It'd be better than the behind WrestleMania documentary. Have you watched that yet?
I haven't watched
Oh
it.
God, it is literally The Rock just going to town on himself
It's
like
a
a damn
PR.
dog.
It's a PR move for The Rock, right?
Oh my God, it literally. If you think of a dog licking itself, that's literally what that documentary was. The Rock doing the same thing. Ugh,
So
not worth.
We get the Final Testament versus Xavier Woods, Akira Tozawa, and Otis. This was an okay match. I didn't really care for this.
Why they've still not told us what Karrion Kross is trying to get out of Xavier Woods. Michael, I mean, look, he's asking a question. If you want to watch a man, touch himself for 45 minutes, sure. I mean, again, it's neat to see some of the backstage stuff as it always is in any documentary, but just to understand that The Rock basically says in the documentary, he's the one that called everybody and said, this is my idea. He saved WrestleMania. So it is, I mean, if you don't like the final boss Rock, literally you realize, holy hell, he literally is the final boss Rock now.
You see, he was just saying because those are both nights.
I mean, again, for the backstage stuff, it is cool to see. It is definitely something, but again, it is not what it's been advertised as. It is literally The Rock saying he saved WrestleMania.
Basically, Kross wants Woods to break out without Kofi. Oh, okay.
Which is great if that's the case, but I still haven't. Kross reminds me of like a Sean O'Hare devil's advocate. I'm not telling you anything you don't already know, but he's just not getting that across to Woods, to me, at least on television. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
This is an okay match. I wasn't a huge fan of this. The Final Testament did win, and then Chad Gable comes out with the Creed brothers, and he has Alpha Academy to stay. So it's basically more of a Rock documentary. Seems like it.
Again, for the backstage stuff, it's worth watching to say you watched it, if that makes any sense. It's a documentary to watch, but you're not going to be like, oh, I'll go watch that again.
Yeah, Sean O'Hare, exactly. Oh, okay.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad somebody gets that.
So this leads into a Chad Gable promo / segment. And the crowd starts chanting, "You suck." The only thing that was missing was the music. That was the only thing missing. Now, you guys got to watch the Mark Henry Miss A&E documentaries. Oh, I don't have cable anymore, so I don't know if it's available on streaming.
Probably is somewhere. I'll check and see.
Yeah. I have the Fire Stick and have Sling TV, so that's what I have now. I don't have cable. So the whole point of this segment is that if what I've been saying should happen finally happened. The Creed brothers attacked Otis and Akira Tozawa. The only thing that was missing from this was Ivy Niles out there attacking Maxine.
Yes. But then, of course, I hate it. I don't care about Bo Dallas and Chad Gable. I just don't care. I don't want to see it. He, of course, as we noticed, they basically beat the Alpha Academy down. Cue the Fiends, and of course, the Creeds don't see that Uncle Howdy's in the ring. Hits a pretty wicked looking
Sister Abigail.
But my God, I was like, it's not a DDT, man. But he took it like a DDT, which was good enough. But we've got to do something here because this Wyatt 6 thing is getting to the point of like, all right, okay, they've attacked somebody. Great. What do we do next?
Yeah, how long is Gable going to continue with Wyatt 6? Exactly, just your point that you were just mentioning. I will admit, this is a sick image. No, I thought this was a pretty cool image.
I was like, oh, it's a guy from Korn attacking Chad Gable. Cool. Again, it is a sick image.
Korn?
Is it Korn? No, Slipknot. I'm sorry, Slipknot. Look at me. See, old age. But I mean, it definitely, I just think the Wyatt 6, they destroyed everybody in the backstage. And look, the Nexus beat the hell out of everybody back in the day and made them a threat. The Wyatt 6 is a threat to Chad Gable because he's mean to people. I mean, I get it, but I want more. Either have them be killers or don't.
I guess it's kind of a slow build.
But that's been the problem with Bray Wyatt, I think, is that his return took so damn long, and it took so long, and nothing was ever moving fast enough. I don't want it to be done next week, mind you, but they attacked everyone. Okay, here we go.
Says, I think it will be Chad and the Creeds versus Wyatt 6 at SummerSlam. Hopefully we'll get that book next week. I don't think so. I don't think just yet, because we're forgetting the Nikki Cross element here. I don't think that match will get made until we get Ivy Niles siding with the Creeds and Chad Gable. I could definitely see them do a whole thing with Ivy Niles trying to talk the Creeds into, like, what the hell are you doing? Why are you siding with Chad Gable? And then she slowly joins them.
But then we're still talking about Uncle Howdy, the Rabbit, let's just say, Eric Rowan, Joe Gacy, the Buzzard, and then Huskus, right? And then you've got Nikki Cross. That's 5 versus 4. So who's going to be the 5th member to round that out if they're going to have a 5-on-5 match? Since there's technically the Spirit of Bray Wyatt is the 6th of the Wyatt 6.
Well, I mean, I guess it depends on how they want to go. You either Chad Gable finds a fifth person to help him, or someone from the Wyatt 6 sits out.
Right. I mean, that's the problem, I think, is that you've got such good characters that, I mean, Joe Gacy's good. Dexter Lumis is good. Eric Rowan is Eric Rowan, always has been. I don't know. I just think if you're really going to have that visual of all them standing together, you've got to have that sort of 5-on-5, at least in my opinion, that sort of 5th element, right? But again, who does Chad Gable find as another student of the Alpha Academy?
Yeah. So I guess we have to wait and see how this plays out. Because the easiest thing to do would be to have someone from the Wyatt 6 sit the match out. Maybe like Bo Dallas or something. Like he can be like at ringside, or he can come in at the end.
Just start screaming, "There you are." Yeah. I mean, you could, that's true. You could do that.
Yeah. So next, we're supposed to get Bronson Reed versus Pete Dunne, but this match doesn't occur because Sheamus comes in and attacks Pete Dunne and Bronson Reed.
I like Bronson Reed, but it's been the same thing over and over again. I'm going to kick everybody's butt. Okay, well, what have you done? What have you done lately? Pete Dunne turning heel was fine, but where is his other partner, Newcastle Republic, man? Is it Tyler Bate? I think, is he injured? Is that?
Tyler Bate got injured.
Okay, I just didn't know. I didn't see them write them off necessarily. Said Pete Dunne just randomly turns heel. I expected it to be where he had because I don't think
they mentioned it. They mentioned it. I think last week that Tyler Bate was going to be out for the rest of the year with an injury.
But I figured they would have told the story that he attacked Tyler Bate because they lost. It's the typical, okay, oh my God, he's turned on him, and now we're going to attack.
He got injured in NXT in that match they had in NXT.
Right. I don't know. To me, it was random and he turned heel, which I'm not against it. I like the heel Pete Dunne. I just, again, it's good enough, I guess.
When Tyler Bate returns, I think Dunne will be a babyface again. Maybe
because Dunne is the one that, or Bate's the one that's kind of made the Bruiserweight nice.
So I know this is not the next segment, but because it fits into what we're talking about, I'm just gonna go ahead and bring it up, especially because the segment after this fits with the segment before this.
Right.
So technically, after this is a third Judgment Day segment, but I'm gonna go ahead and talk about that Sheamus interview first. So basically, Sheamus is calling out Pete Dunne, saying that they can sort this out like proper fellas, or they can take it to the ring to find out who the real Bruiserweight is. So they're definitely setting up a feud with Sheamus and Pete Dunne here.
I thought we were going to get a barroom brawl match when he was like, we can go to the pub and take care of this. And I was like, oh, we're going to get a pre-show barroom brawl or an opener at SummerSlam. That's a match, but not a match. I wouldn't be upset. They're always as good.
He just said that. Just get a barroom. You guys, great minds think alike.
Exactly. He's got it.
So next we get the third Judgment Day segment of the night. And basically, Rhea is not too happy that Finn and Dom were not there to protect, Carlito and JD. So Carlito brings up Liv, and she grabs Dom and drags him to the ring. Let's see. They can tell a story. Dunne didn't enjoy being called Butch. That's true. And you could say that Sheamus was the reason why the Brawling Brutes eventually broke up.
And then Rich Holland's being a creep in NXT is perfect. It's perfect.
Carlito is a snitch. Yeah. So this leads to Dominik, Mysterio, and Rhea Ripley going out to the ring. I thought this was such an interesting segment, to say the least.
Yes, indeed.
Because you had them out there, and then Liv Morgan is like in the crowd, and she's basically trying to tell Dom to reveal his feelings, and Dom just basically insults her. He says some things in Spanish.
Oh, I know. I was like, oh, he just called her a B word. Yeah, I was like, I know some of that Spanish.
He called her a pendeja.
Mm-hmm. Sure did.
Yeah, so I was like, damn. And one of the things that I like, it was a split screen.
AO said it best right there.
Dom went full Guerrero in that promo. Liv in her crocodile tears. I didn't buy Liv in her emotions. Me neither. I honestly think that Dom was not being truthful in this segment. I think he said all those things because he's trying to mask his actual feelings for her.
He lies, he cheats, he steals.
And then like Rhea licked Dom on the cheek and stuff, and they left together. But I said this before. I think the way this is gonna play out, it's gonna play out at SummerSlam. This is gonna be Christian versus Chris Jericho with Trish Stratus. Dom is playing the role of Trish here.
Yep.
And Liv is Christian Cage.
Well, I mean, we also look at the fact of China, and Eddie Guerrero, how that broke up is Eddie was unfaithful. So, I mean, we got both things at the same time.
Yeah. Dom is turning on Rhea and Liv retains things to him. The final match of Rhea will come out first, but I can see that.
For sure.
Yeah, exactly. And I think this is going to be a WrestleMania 20 scenario.
Yep.
Dom is playing the role of Trish, and Liv is going to play the role of Christian here. I could see Dom accidentally screwing over Rhea and then making out with Liv on top of the ramp. And then Rhea, she's looking like.
I still think Finn has a part to play in this because, again, he took the key card and they've been together. I still wonder if the idea is that Dom goes with Liv and then Liv turns on him. Now, we're not going to make Dom a babyface out of this. Let's just be honest. But I don't know. I still think Finn has a part to play here because he's been the one pushing him.
Oh, great reference. Oh, thank you. Trish, Christian, Jericho. Dom's just trying to smooth things over when we wanted to get out of the doghouse. That's true.
Doghouse Dom.
Now, could it be, maybe I'm wrong, maybe Dom does still screw out Rhea, but instead of doing that scenario with them, maybe they do with Dom, Liv, and Finn Balor here, where Finn Balor is a Christian, Liv is Trish, and Dom is Chris Jericho here.
That's what I think. I mean, because again, they've been playing at the fact that Finn has been very close to Liv. And remember, Finn and Liv were on a team to take down the Judgment Day a year ago or so. So, I mean, there's something there.
Yeah, so we'll see. Maybe we're definitely going to get a Christian Trish, Chris Jericho reference here.
Oh, you just made an entire couple thing. They didn't even think about Tristan. Oh my God, they missed out on that. Man. Oh, that'd have been perfect back in the day.
Rhea and Priest are winning their matches. Tristan botch.
I think it's genius.
And it's interesting. We didn't talk about this, but it's interesting that when the Judgment Day came in, they were on separate groups. It was Priest and Rhea, Carlito by himself, and then the three of them together. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Carlito was all of us fans when we're just following the story along, holding the bag. He's like, what the hell are we going to do here? That's why he always laughs when he's like, that's cool. That he literally is us.
Mm-hmm. So there's so many, this story is going to go in so many ways. I cannot wait for it.
It's too bad Jerry Springer is not alive today because he'd be perfect for this.
Right. So next we're going to get Zelina Vega versus Zoey Stark. Before then, we get a Zelina Vega interview. It's your typical Zelina Vega interview talking about how you can't keep her down because she's a Boricua. The match is okay. She pulled a cowboy Bob Orton and hit Zoey Stark with that cast.
Sorry, I'm laughing at Michael's comment. I mean, yeah, I was surprised she got the win here over Zoey Stark, especially since they're building that they're going to be a threat to the women's division. But again, we'll talk about backstage. A certain person was like, "You just lost. What are you talking about? You run the division."
Yeah, we'll talk
We'll
about
get
that
there.
when we
Though. We'll get
segment.
there.
So yeah, Zelina Vega ends up winning because Katana, Chance, Kaden, Carden, and Lyra, Valkyria all come and help her. I did like the finish though, the elbow with the cast and then the code red. That was a pretty cool finish.
But please, let's just get rid of Katana Chance and Caden Carter. My God, I just want to turn my channel every time I see them. I'm like, please, just get rid of them. I don't like them.
They're not that bad. I think you're over exaggerating.
Horrible. Oh no. X-Pac heat on me. I'm like, turn the channel. Go away, heat.
All right, so we get an Adam Pearce segment, and basically, like Xavier Woods asked for a one-on-one match with Karrion Kross. He gets it, and then McIntyre is complaining about Seth Rollins being a referee, and this is when Adam Pearce tells him that Seth Rollins is going to give them instructions next week.
You know what though? Adam Pearce missed out on his little catchphrase to Xavier Woods. Okay, and you know what? That's official. So I was kind of waiting on it. I didn't hear it. I was like, oh, you missed it.
Do you watch AEW?
I have not watched AEW. I've heard of the Jericho Learning Tree. I have not watched the segment. So, sometimes if you know a train wreck's coming, it's a little bit more enjoyable than just watching and be like, oh my God, this is horrible. So to me, as much as Jericho has jumped the shark, I watched Jericho over Chance and Carter.
Michael. All right, so you get Alba Fire and Isla Dawn being interviewed. And basically, they're approached by Sonya Deville and her group, saying they're going to take the tag titles. But as you mentioned, they point out the fact that they just lost.
To Zelina, of all people. I mean, it's so strange because, again, Fire and Dawn, I'm glad they won the titles, but now we need more from them because, again, they don't run the division. They don't do anything. Where the hell have they been? So to me, it's all well and good, but I need more.
Right. Kaden and Katana are more entertaining on TikTok. Really? I didn't know that.
It's called the red light thing. When one red light goes on, they're entertaining, but when the other light comes on, I don't know what it is. I don't get the rave party girl. I'm over it. Do something different. Turn heel.
All right, so we get the main event ends up being Sami Zayn and Jey Uso versus the Judgment Day in the form of Finn Balor and JD McDonough. And I thought this was a pretty decent match. I mean, there were moments where I really did think that the Judgment Day were going to retain or that they were going to win. But I was surprised that Sami Zayn and Jey Uso won after they did the haluva kick to JD and Uso splash. And then at the very end of this match, Braun Breaker speared Sami Zayn.
To me, the wrong team won. If you're going to have Finn Balor versus Gunther, even though Gunther's going to kill Finn, which I hope he doesn't, because that's going to be a pretty good match, I hope. Why the hell would you have Finn lose? Have Braun Breaker spear Sami Zayn and cost Sami Zayn the match, because why not? Because he's a heel. Why wait until the end?
You know what? I was kind of thinking about that too. I was like, why didn't he spear him in the middle of the match?
Exactly. Braun Breaker doesn't care about referees and matches. He just spears because why the hell not? So, I mean, if they won by DQ, it'd have been better. Have him spear Jey Uso, and there's your next feud. Braun Breaker versus Jey Uso. Uso's got nothing else to do so far.
Yeah. Let's see. It's Ram Jam. Hey, Ram Jam. What's up?
What's up, man?
It's going to be the SummerSlam 97 finish where Seth Rollins will Seth Rollins as Shawn Michaels will accidentally cost CM Punk the match, and Drew wins just like how Shawn cost The Undertaker. Does Jey even have a match at SummerSlam? That doesn't seem like it.
No, that's not very Usi of them. No.
So, one of my favorite spots in this match, I will say, was the 1D that they did to JD.
That was cool. And I thought that was going to be it at that point. I really did. I was like, okay, 1, 2, 3, we're done. I'm like, oh, nope, we got it going. Okay, the Judgment Day is going to be, oh, Michael, that's not very yeet.
That's not very, yeah. All right. So with that being said, that concludes the Monday Night Raw review. So on a scale from a 1 to Sean Spears' perfect 10, what would you rank tonight's show?
I'm going to give it, to me, I really liked a lot of it. let's get rid of Katana Chance and Caden Carter, and it goes up a whole point. But I would say a 7. It wasn't bad. I mean, again, I'm liking that Gunther's basically just saying I'm going to win and it's over. And really, Priest didn't talk, which is a good thing because Priest is in promos. I think just it's not his fault, but they just are not that great. So to me, them getting into Brawl was a pretty hot start. I didn't expect that, especially for 2 heels. So I liked it. I thought it was pretty good.
Michael says a 4 out of 10 mid-show. I have to agree with you. This is a 7 out of 10 for me. I was not a huge fan of the Final Testament versus Alpha Academy and Xavier Woods. I feel like they could have done without that match, but I get why they did it. It's just not my cup of tea.
Right. Otis and them have to go away for a little bit because, I mean, they're not Alpha Academy no more. They're Otis Academy or whatever, Otizawa, whatever you want to call them.
Blood and Guts looking like a better show. Kind of is. But that's just personal preference. Right. All right. So as we get ready to sign off, you got anything you want to say?
Well, glad to be back. Thanks again for your patience and, thoughts and prayers to the wrestling gods, JBL and Moose. Evidently they answered, but no, definitely feeling a lot better. You're going to be joining me this week for the show. So thanks for backing me up on that as I delve back into the craziness that is Wrestle M Podcast. But, you can find me down below at Wrestle M Podcast, and you will see me live on Twitter and, setting fires and saying stuff that maybe I shouldn't say about Katana Chance and Carter in terms of like they're horrible. But you know what? That's half the fun, is always being a little controversial. So creates cash. This once one guy that I know said, I think he got you back and was better than ever from what I heard. So
wow. So I'm glad you're feeling a lot better because it was bad last week. So real glad you're feeling better. As far as I'm concerned, you can follow me at Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it these days, @Till_. I talk all things wrestling, WWE, AEW, TNA. I go live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday on my channel, Rangers of Wrestling. Occasional Saturdays and Sundays. And for all things TNA, you can check me out every Thursday on Body Slam. He wants you to carry me tomorrow through NXT because he believes in Joe Henry. Not sure what that has to do with anything, but okay.
Here's the thing. It's the footprints in the sand. Little did I know she's carrying me.
I'm carrying him tomorrow because he's still technically
you always carry me. Yeah.
He's still technically sick, so I'm gonna take the lead on the NXT show tomorrow. So yeah, you heard it. I'm working on a Tuesday. I will be covering NXT tomorrow exclusively on A+ Hero Report with Josh here as he still recovers from his illness.
Yeah, again, she don't like working Tuesdays like Triple H did, but you know what? For the fans out there, she's going to do it for y'all and for me.
Next week, Josh is on his own.
Exactly. But you know what? We love the crossovers, and it's like Joe Henry showing up in NXT. Say her name, and she appears. #I believe in Dotala. See? That's how we do it. #Dotala does NXT, y'all.
Only because Josh is still recovering from his illness. Otherwise, you could forget it.
#pray hands. There we go. See?
With that being said, thank you guys all so much for watching, for the continuous support. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell so you get notified whenever we go live or release a new video. And I'll see you guys tomorrow exclusively on A+ Hero Report for the end as me and Josh review NXT, the go-home show to the Great American Bash.
That's right.
Bye.
See you later.